Ew, ew, ew. Ladies, gentlemen, gamers from Idaho. Welcome back once again to another Patch Notes. It's been about count 'em, 3 weeks since the last one, since my absolutely beautiful Omega Brain, Giga Brain, has gone over the state of the game. Now, because it's been 3 weeks, and technically, even though the MSI event with Faker's overpriced skin is still going on, because it's finished and there's no other pass, I have not played League. So a lot of these changes I'm very not only unfamiliar with because I haven't seen Surrender at 20, RIP, but also because I just have not played the game, so I don't know what's meta, what's not. I've kind of been taking a nice break from League, similar to how Riot has been taking a break from League, even though I'm taking one longer than them. And before anyone says anything, yes, I know I have a lot of tabs. I don't know why, but in every other YouTube video that shows my Google Chrome, they always mention the tabs, so I'll just address it right now. I like a lot of tabs. Either way, we're here to do the 14.14 patch notes. As I say every time, I hope this doesn't last long. We have a lot of things to do today. It's probably going to last over an hour, so let's see how it is. Now, this is the big, as you couldn't tell, and the reason I'm doing it on Google and not on the client, which is right here. The reason I'm doing it on Google is because they have this nice little artwork, and I was like, oh, this is very cool. So this kind of shows what the big grand poobah event is right now of the summer. I don't think there's going to be too much major shit after this, except maybe for Worlds or maybe for Arcane whenever that comes out later this year. But this is basically the big summer event that we get once a year. It is Anima Squad. I've already spent a lot of time on the channel kind of going over Anima Squad, reviewing it, and we're very excited for it. We'll talk a little bit about it here, add some more thoughts, but I've covered it a decent amount already. Now I have food next to me. I'm going to be chomping down because these things require energy. And we're probably going to go long enough to where my family's going to interrupt me, so we'll see when that happens. But either way, we have the very nice Anima Squad art, and as I have already said, I think Anima Squad is probably taking the place of Project. Unless they just wait on Project for a while and then go back to it. I think Anima Squad is the evolution because I think it's blending in furries and a lot more stuff. I think Anima Squad is a lot more, not only modern when compared to Project, but also, again, it blends in other things. It's a lot more broad in its range, essentially. So, will we ever see Project again? I don't know. I hope so. I really like Project, but Anima Squad really fills in a similar niche, and I think probably does a little bit better. And we'll talk about the skins more at the end, because Lord, do I have some things to say about this. But I think they're generally pretty good, and we have Briar here smiling like crazy. And I like the whole lore for the event too. But Briar's here, her feet are out, and you can kind of see, even though she's kind of villain looking, because she was on the villain side, she was with Aatrox, Belveth, and Rek'Sai there. She kind of defected because I don't know why. Either way, we have AI Yumi, we have all the Anima Squad people here, and I think the old ones are involved too, I'm not sure. But the whole lore is it's the good people fighting the aliens. It's very anime-esque, very, again, furry. I'm going to keep mentioning that. But pretty cool event. So let's read this shit and let's get into it. Calling all recruits. Also, they did a song for it in Korean, and it wasn't on the main lead channel, so I didn't react to it, but I saw it. It was pretty cute. I really liked it. I think in some ways it was a little low quality. Like, it was, I don't want to say lazy animation or art, but I was like, oh, you kind of tell, like, this wasn't too crazy. But I really liked it. The song was cool. The visuals are cute, and I love cute things. Either way, calling all recruits, it's finally time, after an extended period of time, for patch 14.14. In this patch, we're kicking off our summer event, which, according to all the statistics I've seen from Necrit's videos on YouTube, is gonna be a doozy. Like, they're already assuming the servers are gonna get filled to capacity, but you know, they already did with other things like TFT and stuff, but even on PBE, this shit was already getting maxed out and they've had to increase the load. So this bodes well. This really bodes well. Now, obviously, this isn't a permanent game mode, but hopefully they'll bring it back. Hopefully they'll improve them, because I doubt, because Riot knows. Riot's learned from their past. In the past, they made a lot of, well, not a lot, but they made some PvE game modes. And the biggest thing of why they didn't redo it is because it took too much time and effort, and people didn't stick with it. So they kind of learned their lesson, and that's why with Arena they were really careful. But Arena is obviously being successful as shit. So on its third run around here, it has its own little core audience. So, excuse me, I almost had to burp. It has its little own core audience. So at this point, it's probably going to become permanent. And I don't ever think this will become permanent, but you never know, right? We had TFT and now look at that. We have Arena and now look where that's going. So at the very least, I do expect them to bring this back, hopefully, with some new coat of paint and fresh new stuff eventually. But we got to see how it does. But I feel like from everything we've seen initially, it's going to do pretty fucking good. But anyway, in this patch, we're kicking off the summer event Anima Squad. Join the squad and take on the Primordians in the new limited time PvE game mode Swarm Operation Anima Squad. You'll be able to fight hordes of enemies by yourself or with friends with the goal of taking down the bosses. So again, it's not a carbon copy, but it's basically a copy of Vampire Survivors, which I played on stream. So if you like that sort of stuff, then you're gonna like this, and it's free. You know, the biggest thing is it's free. A lot of people say like, oh, the reason Riot can offer this for free because it is very expensive. And again, most of my information here I am getting from Necrit, but they said that most of the time these things are expensive as fuck to have because you basically have to have a server for one person if they decide to go into the game by themselves. And to support all this for free, they need to find the money. And Riot makes a shit ton of money, don't get me wrong. But the Faker skin could potentially be also funding this, at least a little bit. So, you know, at the very end of the day, they're only doing it with cosmetics, thankfully. It's not gameplay altering stuff. So, you know, we're getting free shit. League has been on the upturn recently, and I've really enjoyed it. And I've been waiting for a pass to come back because as much as I hate League, I do love it. I mean, I've played it for God knows how many years now, right? But, you know, I'm very excited, and I finally think things are on the up and up, for sure. We have Arena succeeding. We have Swarm coming in, a very new thing. And Swarm actually means a lot of great things for League potentially because they had to make new technology to make Swarm. Now we could potentially get controller support. Now, I know that's an ugly thing. I personally don't like that. But if you ever want to play League with controller, this might be hope on the horizon because you play Swarm with WASD. So they actually had to input the technology because before it was in, but it was modded. Like people made it in the community to where you could play League with a controller, but it wasn't official. Now we're kind of getting the foundation for it potentially coming in the future, maybe. So a lot of cool things with Swarm, both on the front end and on the back end. But either way, let's keep going. We're definitely going to go along with this one. Either way, you'll be able... Okay, I already read that. In other news, we're also extending, for some reason, the Hall of Legends Battle Pass for one more patch. This pass, when I first heard it had 100 levels, I was scared shitless. But after actually getting through it really quickly, if you play the game, you're going to get through this, I don't want to say instantly, but really fast. Like, them extending it, I really feel like it's just them trying to extend sales. Because from what I've heard and what I've seen, the skin is very successful, sadly. So if you haven't hit level 100, you have 2 more weeks to do so, if you so needed it. We also have our usual balance changes as well to tackle things like Tristana mid, supports rushing Warmogs, what the fuck? Smolder's lack of firepower, thank god they're buffing Smoldy, and more. We've got a bunch of Arena and ARAM changes, plus updates to Quick Play Surrender rules, and a Clash Demacia Cup, and a new Mythic Shop rotation. Damn, so they got a lot of shit in here. Okay, I'm ready. In the last patch, Inkborg Fables, we're signing off with the goal of celebrating our favorite moments. Oh, that's TFT, I don't care. Okay, so here we can see a rundown of the patch. Like I said, I'll go over the skins later at the end. But we have, yeah, no, I'll go over them really at the end. But here we have the all-new Bullet Heaven. So originally, I was racking my mind, right? I was like, what the fuck is the difference between a Bullet Heaven and a Bullet Hell? Because I was only familiar with the Bullet Hell, and this is where I kind of came to the pseudo-conclusion. And I don't know if this is true. You know, y'all can correct me if I'm wrong. But I came to the pseudo-conclusion that a Bullet Heaven is essentially one where you're the one causing the hell for the enemies. You're the one spewing out shit. You don't have to dodge all the shit being spewed out. You're the one doing it. A Bullet Hell is when you have to dodge everything. A Bullet Heaven is when you're causing the destruction. That's as far as I know it. And I like Bullet Heavens. I like Vampire Survivors. So, either way, it will be coming out on July 17th. So even though we're going out, or we're covering the patch, you know, today, the patch isn't going live till tomorrow. So we're actually on time with covering this, thankfully. So either way, it will run until August 19th, so we have a little over a month for it, which is pretty good. So on NA, it is going to come out on 18 UTC. I don't know when that is, and I don't care. Either way, Hall of Legends extension, they already said this. We want to give players more time to give us money. We also have extended the event to another patch so we can get more money. So you now have until the end of July. Whoopee. Keep in mind that the event mission XP will only contribute towards this pass. Oh wait, actually. One contributor towards the pass it's associated with. Okay, yeah, so that means this is the first time I think in history where two passes existed at the same time. Now, granted, the Hall of Legends pass is a little bit of a different pass, but they're just making sure you understand they're not going to overlap each other in terms of like what earns what. So Anima Squad is obviously for Anima Squad Pass, and Hall of Legends is for Hall of Legends. No duh. Either way, we have Swarm. So League's all-new Bullet Heaven Swarm will be coming out tomorrow. Blast and juke your way through countless enemies. I'm actually so excited for this shit. Obviously, if you haven't seen my other YouTube reactions, you can go watch them, but I am extremely horny for this. I'm so excited. I've seen things. It looks a little rough around the edges, but it still looks pretty good. But again, most of my opinions are in those videos. Go watch those. But hopefully getting enough power along the way to stop the big baddie who awaits you at the end of each map. And if you don't succeed, just dust yourself off, rethink, and power up. And try again. We'll be adding a few new challenges, so make sure you check those out. So pretty cool. Swarm is eventually, I think, going to be pretty hard depending on the difficulties. I wish they had better rewards, but I'm glad they have some rewards in general. So it's not terrible. It's not great, it's not terrible, but I don't think similar to Odyssey, or not similar to Odyssey, we're not getting a skin, sadly. But we're getting other stuff, so it's not bad. And if that all wasn't enough, we are also getting Aurora, which is the newest AP top laner, which I've seen a little bit of. I've, again, reacted to her as well. And, you know, just to kind of condense the opinions, I think Aurora is pretty interesting. For those of you who don't know her kit, she's basically annoying as shit. Now, a lot of the pro players did a video. I forgot what it was called. I think it was from Medios, ironically enough, a very old pro player at this point in time, where he basically had them playtest her, and they were like, okay, well, what do you feel about her? And they kind of came to the consensus. Now, I don't know if this is scripted or paid actors, right? But they came to the consensus of like, oh, you know, she feels really strong, but if you get behind, she's basically useless because she offers nothing to the team, which I think is pretty true. But so far from what I've seen, number one, I think she's beautiful. I think she's amazing. I think she's hot. There's a lot of pictures of her online, which I really like. I think her fashion is great. Her design is great. Everything is great. Mwah, beautiful. I love bunny girls. Amazing. Gameplay wise, I think she's interesting. I'm definitely going to play her. I don't know if I'm going to fall in love with her because I thought I was going to fall in love with Hui, and we all know how that went. But I'm really excited to play her. She looks really interesting. She looks like she has a decently high skill cap too. And I'm very excited for her. Will she be good? We'll see. I haven't really been keeping up with League because it's been the extended break. So I don't know how she's landing. I haven't heard people's opinions, but she seems to be pretty good on initial assessment. Either way, she's really cool. And apparently I think she's also autistic, which, you know, more inclusion. There you go. Either way, now we move on to the balance. Aphelios. I think Aphelios is... It's a little weird because Aphelios has a lot of things going for him. He is decently hard, where, you know, after the 200 years joke was beaten to death and Riot really learned their lesson from that, even though they didn't because then they made Zeri. I think Aphelios is decent. I think his main strength is his late game because he just gets so much stat buffs from his passive. But the main issue is it's hard to get to late game. Now, again, I'm saying all this with a grain of salt because I don't know how the meta is. I don't know how the game is. But Aphelios overall is probably decently weak until you get to late game, but you don't really do that often. So let's see what they're doing. I can see them buffing him. Aphelios is definitely weaker than he should be at the moment, so we're bumping up the punch on his weaker guns whose actives don't feel as impactful. So probably the gravity gun. The gravity gun sucks dick. So let's see. So the damage of the gravity gun's active is going up by 30 later on, and the scaling is going up by a decent amount early. Okay, not bad. So the sentry, which is, I believe, the chakram. So again, this is the active of the chakram. For some reason, when the chakram first came out, or when, I guess, Aphelios first came out, not the gun, him, the chakram was really, really fucking good. The chakram was powerful, and they wanted to shift it more to the ability side more than the autoing side, which was weird. And I don't really agree with that. I think the chakram should be high risk, high reward. The closer you are to someone, the more you should just pummel them with this thing. And you still kind of can, but not as well as you could. Like, oh my god, it was ridiculous what you could do. But yeah, no, they wanted it to be more of a turret than anything, so let's see what they're doing. They're probably buffing it more because it's so useless. Even though it's not that useless, but if people realize it, they focus it, they take it out, or they just stay away from it, it doesn't last nearly long enough when you place it down. And it's just nonsensical a little bit. But either way, what are they doing? They're upping the base damage both early and later, and the scaling's going up by 2% early. Wow, amazing. So the Q, the red gun. I like how they call it purple gun, white gun, red gun. They don't even call it by the actual name. Gravitum, the pistol is Severum, I believe, and then the chakram is Crescendum. And I know that because I'm an ADC main. I love League. I love ADC. Either way, yeah, what are they doing to the Q? So the Q on the pistol, I think, is probably one of the best ones if you pair it with the right guns. But overall, it's not bad. But I guess they want to up the damage on that. They don't want to give Aphelios more on his autos because I think his autos are enough. So they're just buffing the rest of his guns, which is nice. The sniper obviously didn't get buffed. The flamethrower is not going to get buffed. But everything else is. So let's see. The damage is going from... They're not touching the base. They're touching the scaling early and late. Wow. Okay. So yeah, his guns are just slightly better. They're going to do slightly more damage. I think this is good. I think it's not crazy, but it's all right. Again, death by 1,000 cuts, or in the opposite sense, saving by 1,000 band-aids, I guess. But Aphelios is decently better. Not crazy, though. Oh my god, Aurelian Soul. Actually, you know what I'm going to do here? Because we are done with the website. Actually, I don't know. Does it look better on here? Or... I guess I'll just read it on the website for now. I might switch back to the client. I'm honestly not sure. But either way, Asol. I love Asol. It's no secret. He's one of my favorite champions of the game. He infinite stacks. All that happens is he ends up getting nerfed. I really hope he doesn't get nerfed again. But he is one of the premier late game mages, and he's pretty good. So I wouldn't be surprised if he gets nerfed. I really hope he doesn't. I hope they buff the cooldown on his E. I think everything else is fair. They already nerfed the W. They nerfed the Q, aka bug fixed it. I think the E is basically the make or break because that's the main way you get stacks or the main way you set up anything. If you don't have E up, unless the enemy's being stupid or you're being overly aggressive, you can't really do much. Like the E is really, I think, the thing that ties it all together, aside from the ult. So what are they doing? In his current state, a lot of Asol's power is tied up in his abilities to bully lane opponents by tapping his Q, especially in higher skill brackets. This thing is more of a cheese, but yeah, it's not. They're not wrong here. Not only is this unintuitive, but it also doesn't feel like a breath of light as much as it does a burp. That is disgusting. We'll be addressing this by shifting some of this power from his Q into more interesting and engaging parts of his kit, like his W and I think his E. So let's see. His base AD is going up, which is always good. The initial mana cost of Q is going way up, but that's interesting. So the sustained mana cost is now after the initial one. So they're making it start ticking after. And then the mana cost during W. The mana cost is adjusted. Oh, it's unchanged while using W. So they're just pretty much just straight nerfing the Q. Now it's going to cost way more. So you're way more incentivized to not tap it now. If you tap it, you're losing a lot of fucking mana. Wow. Like a lot more. But in response, they are now scaling the W not just based off your passive stacks, but also based on level. Even though I don't think you'd level the second. Maybe now there's an argument for it, but I don't know. I usually level this last. Either way. Then we have the E. So the E is getting decently maned at all ranks. It's getting simplified. And then the movement speed buff. Non-champions are slowed to 0 movement speed. Lane minions and normals are slowed to 0. Oh. Wait, what? Wait. So does this mean dragon as well? I don't understand why they changed this. Did they explain this? E mana cost decrease, slowing logic adjusted. Yeah, I don't know why they adjusted it, but it probably was causing some issues or they didn't like it. Either way, the E is pretty much a little bit better, not much. And then the R. So what are they doing with the R? So the damage is getting scaled by 10% more. And now it's 90%. Okay. So they're front loading the regular one and then the upgraded one, they're just making it kind of the same. So they're adjusting power. They're taking some power away from the max one, putting it in the regular one, kind of. Asol is... I don't know. I think this actually makes him a lot worse in professional play. In higher skill brackets where it's like they do all these little like min-maxing strats, I actually think this does make Asol decently worse. This is actually crazy. Wow. Now, for the common man, this probably doesn't matter too much, but it definitely takes away what little, I think, expert skill expression he kind of did have. I don't know if I agree with that, though. We'll see. I don't think this is a good change, though, even with all the little buffs here and there. Okay, Bel'Veth. What do I think of Bel'Veth? Because she's getting a skin, I'm assuming she's getting buffed. Let's see. Belveth has been too strong in elite solo queue for a while now. Wow, that's crazy, because whenever I play her, I don't feel like that until way later on. We'd like it if her power were more consistent across various player skill brackets, so we're going back on some of her changes. By lowering her basic attack rate. What? They're lowering her range? Our goal is to weaken her ability to hit other melee champions before they could strike back. Wow. Okay, so they're putting it back on the R, but they're lowering it from her base kit. Wow. That is kind of crazy. That's a decent nerf right there. Holy shit. It sounds like it would be fringe, but this is, again, I count attack range kind of in the similar vein as attacks, or not attack speed. In terms of movement speed, these are really low-key, very important stats that, like, if you're really good at the game, you notice them. Like, holy shit. I can't believe Belveth's getting a skin and getting nerfed at the same time. That is wild. Okay, then we're up to Brand. What do we think of Brand? Despite recent nerfs, Brand's skill is still blazing hot, so he's still being annoying. So the cooldown on his E is going up by 1 second. The magic damage is going down by 5. Okay, cool. Brand is a little worse. Nice. So they're going to probably keep slowly cutting him down. I don't know if this is enough. I think Brand is still annoying as shit, but it is, or it might get eventually to the point where he really isn't too much of an issue. His poke isn't going to be that big a deal. And if that's the case, then he's going to be god useless aside from the stun. Because the main thing you pick Brand for is the fucking damage. It's also because he's decently easy too, but either way, Brand is slightly worse. But I don't know how many times he's going to get slightly worse before he's just bad. Either way, Cho'Gath. What do I think of Cho'Gath? I actually think Cho'Gath is decently good. I think the hands of certain players, and especially as certain counter picks, which is weird. I forgot who he counter picks, but it was a weird, I think it was was it Alawi? I don't remember if it was Alawi. But Cho'Gath counter picks someone that's decently popular. But in the hands of a good player, I feel like Cho'Gath is really good. I don't want to say impressive, but Cho'Gath is like sleeper good in my eyes. Either way, Cho'Gath is currently underperforming and a bit weaker than we like him to be. Wow. So we're increasing the base damage on his Rupture and Vorpal Spikes. I don't understand why they don't just give Cho'Gath a fucking ASU, man. So let's see. So when you're able to land them, they hit a bit harder. I think this is, well, let's see the numbers here. So they're upping the base damage by 20 later, no scaling. And then the magic damage of Vorpal is going up in base damage as well. Wait a minute. So it's getting lowered early by 2, but upped later by 18. Not bad. I mean, slight buffs. Nothing crazy. Slight buffs. I still think Cho'Gath under the right circumstances and in the right hands. Obviously, if he's going against Gwen, he's getting his ass eaten. Fiora getting his ass super spread open and eaten. But against certain picks, he could do pretty good. Definitely a pick matchup and a skill matchup. But more a pick matchup anyway. Corki. So Corki's interesting. I still don't know if he's more of a mid laner or a bot laner, because they obviously wanted to push him bot, but I haven't been playing League enough to see if it's worked out. I really have no clue. Let's see what they're doing. Corki has a much lower win rate than his power level would suggest, as many mid laners have not moved over to Qmax, which is crazy. Pros who are building him correctly have identified him as a clearly strong champion, and as a result, he's choking at the competition. Interesting. So Corki's recommended skill order for mid has been updated. So sadly, he's still going mid. I wish he would just come back bot where he used to be. But, you know, apparently we're having problems always with ADs trampling other lanes. When anyone else does it to our lane, to bot lane, it's fine. But if ADs do it, oh no, that's not good. So either way, they're maxing Q first. They're recommending that for mid, and his base health is getting decently nerfed. That is a decent nerf, honestly. 640, 610, not bad. Fiddlesticks. I swear to God, I forget that this champion exists because he's just not really used. I don't want to say he's not good, but he's too hard. You could do a lot of other things on other champions for a lot easier, and Fiddlesticks is really make or break with the ult. He's basically an ult bot. If you don't do the ult right, you're basically playing the champion for no reason. So let's see what they're doing. They should buff him. We noticed that Fiddlestick's fear wasn't meeting expectations. Bear me. He fires a crow at his target, which is a projectile, so it should be blocked by things like Wind Wall. Now it does. That is now blocked by Yasuo's Wind Wall, Braum's Shield, and Samira's W. That's crazy. So they're nerfing him. Holy shit. I mean, granted, this is for clarity purposes. This is like, you expect it to work this way, so it should. But they easily could have done the opposite thing. Instead of shooting out a crow, they could have just made it so he just point and click fears you. Like, it didn't even need to be a projectile. This is them just choosing to remain Fiddlesticks, like, weak, which is sad. But he is decently scary if he gets going. If he's used by a good player, he basically can almost carry the team fight by himself. He's pretty good. But not in the hands of most people, so I'm really sad with this quote-unquote nerf. Either way, Hecarim. I don't know how Hecarim's doing. I haven't watched Dantes. Dantes has been going through a whole bunch of drama. He's the best Hecarim player in the world. But I don't really watch anyone because I'm busy and I stream. So I don't know how Hecarim is. Let's see. In this patch, we'll be reverting several changes that contribute to Hecarim's Dantes abusing. One common issue in lower skill brackets is maxing E despite W being much better. So we're making E and W's close up. Okay. Let's see what they're doing. So the base stats is slightly going up in health growth. That's decent. Excuse me. The W duration going down by 1 really sucks. The healing is now going up to account for that. And the cooldown is now 14 at all ranks. That's pretty good. And then the E has higher initial cooldown but lower later cooldown. That's not bad. I think overall, aside from the duration to the W, which is decently big, I think all these are great for Hecarim. I think this is fine. This is pretty good. Generally buffed. Then we have Irelia. I hate this character. I'm never good at her, except I feed early and then I come back late. I think Irelia is stupid. She is one of the, like if I'm thinking of, like, the skill cap champions in top lane, it's Fiora, it's Camille, and then it's Irelia as well. I think those three are the trio of, like, hot, sweaty, disgusting human beings who use them because they want to believe they're good at the game. And some of them are. I fucking hate Irelia, though. I think she's pretty strong. So, what are they doing? This list of changes is an adjustment to Irelia that will shift some of her power from late game into the early and mid game. And see, this is where I know this is right, because I suck dick on Irelia early, and then mid I kind of bring it back, and late I actually do good. I always feed on Irelia early, and I always come back late for some reason. Because I guess I don't know how to lane. I don't know. We're buffing her early to mid game by making her passive scale linearly. Wow. So what are they doing? Her AD growth is going slightly down, so that's a little bit of a nerf. Her attack speed is getting technically buffed, which is pretty good. Yeah, it's scaling linearly, so you don't have, like, big milestones where it goes from 7.5 to 13. You're getting it at all times, which is not crazy. Like, I don't want to overblow this, but it's all right. And then R, Vanguard's Edge. The Blade Surge cooldown is going down. Wow. Holy shit. It's going down from 2.5 to 1.5. That is crazy. Okay, well, that's, I'm not too sure what that exactly means, because, again, I haven't used that really in God knows how long, but I think when they hit the edge of the R, that's when the cooldown gets refunded for the Q. But it's not that much, but I think it's per person. I'm not too sure, per champion. Either way, I think this passive is like a misnomer. I think she's overall worse, especially because the AD growth and the cooldown reduction. Like, okay, cool, we have the attack speed that we were gonna get eventually a little bit lesser now, sure, but man, Irelia is just a little bit worse, whatever. Jax, I don't want to make all the same jokes that everyone else is making about Jax, but you know, we all know what Jax mains are. Either way, I don't really know how good Jax is. We're giving Jax a slight nerf to his E to help reduce how powerful and frustrating of a dueling early on he could be. So they're probably, if I had to guess, going to reduce the base damage, because that shit gets giga buffed if you block 4 attacks, which usually if you're getting hit by minions, you will. So let's see what they're doing. They're actually increasing the cooldown from 15 to 17. Wow, that's going to sting a little bit. Jax's E is basically his bread and butter. Unless you can just outright beat the enemy champion with fundamentals of dueling and brawling, you basically need your E. Your E is your lifeline. Again, unless the enemy is so bad that you can get away with not using it, and if that's the case, you're just going to roll them anyway. But them increasing the E is a really decent nerf, because that's, again, that's like vital to him. It's the same thing with I think Asol and Asol's E. I think it's very vital. Where, again, if you're using the other parts of his ability, same with Asol and Jax, if you're not using their E's and you're winning, you're either being extremely aggressive and you're extremely good, or the enemy is extremely bad. One of the two. But this is a decent nerf. I fucking hate Jace. I hope Jace dies in Minecraft. In Arcane. So what are they doing? Jace is struggling at the moment. Thank God. I hate his character. I just don't like the way he plays. I don't like how much of an asshole he is. I don't know what it is. I just don't like characters like Jace. I don't want to, like, spend too much time on it, though. Either way. Jace is struggling, thank God, and while he's less common in melee form, has gotten a lot more of a recent love. It's time to up the damage of his ranged Q. Wow. So they're upping not only the base damage, but the scaling by 5% too. See, this is scary because Jace is abused by the Koreans, and they know what's good and what's not if you have the skill for it. I think Jace has the potential to become an animal. With these numbers, I don't know. But Jace is a scary character to buff, man. This guy is a, I don't want to say a hyper scaler, but he is a fucking issue if he gets going. Like, there's a reason why they keep picking him. Despite how I hate Jace, they keep picking him for a fucking reason. But yeah, that's a little scary. Doesn't look scary, might be scary. Kindred, I think Kindred kind of sucks dick. I haven't seen Kindred nearly at all. Now, granted, I'm not in any crazy elo, but I haven't been really watching pro play, so I honestly don't know. But from the last thing I remember, I think Kindred sucks asshole. Let's see. Kindred are performing quite well in higher skill brackets and are in need of a nerf. Damn, I'm completely wrong. We're targeting their early combat power to ensure their jungle carries. If jungle carries, Kindred doesn't have quite as ability to win early skirmishes and invades, which is fair. I think Kindred scales like a fucking animal. They're almost similar to a Felix in that sense, where eventually they just get so much stat buffs. It's like, Jesus Christ, like what are they doing to you? But their Q is getting nerfed attack speed wise, and then the magic damage is going down by 10%. Cool. Even though it scales off bonus AD for some reason. Kindred's slightly worse. Yeah, for sure. Not even slightly worse. I would say a little more than slightly. Not decently, but a little bit more than slightly. Lilia! Ooh! I love Lilia. So, I really don't know how she's doing. I feel like she's doing well because there's so many more burn and dot items in the game now. I wouldn't be surprised if she gets nerfed, although I will be pretty sad about it. Lilia is overperforming with her new favorite item, Runic Ashes. Yeah, so that's the component to the new burn dot item. Makes sense. And its resulting upgrade. Since we like what those items are doing for the game overall, we're just gonna basically nerf Lilia. We're targeting her best case scenarios where she's kiting and healing from the entire team at once. So they still want her to 1v1, but like in a team setting, I guess she's too good. So what are they doing? So 100% reduced to 33% for successive champions. So now they're kind of halving that. They're over halving it technically. So 100% to then 15% for everything after that. That is pretty decent. It's a pretty decent nerf. Like max level, let me get my handy dandy calculator here, right? So 33 times 4 is 132. 15 times 4 is 60. So yeah, they're pretty much over halving it. Wow. I don't know if we'll actively see it, and this is very not very fringe, but it is in fringe cases because how long are you really going to have the entire enemy team with your passive? Not really long. It'll happen, but not everyone forever, right? Like it really is not. It's not too rare, but it's decently rare. This makes some difference in a little niche situations. Not negligible. Either way, the damage on the E, I don't know why they would nerf this. I feel like this is already hard enough to hit. They're nerfing the base and the scaling. That's kind of sad. Lilia is definitely worse after this. Not crazy worse, but decently worse. I don't know why they needed to nerf the E, man. On both fronts, too. Okay, Milio. What do I think of Milio? Milio is interesting. When I realized that if he Ws... Now, granted, the W is a very long cooldown, but the W basically makes it, especially with certain ADs like Caitlyn, Kog'Maw, Jinx, maybe even Ashe to an extent, ADs that just already have range, maybe even Varus actually too, ADs that already have range get super buffed by Milio, and they apply his passive, I believe, which is crazy. So not only is there very little way for you to lose the engagement if you do it properly, because you're just stat checking them with range, but you're also getting more damage for it. It kind of feels a little unfair. In all other aspects, though, I think Milio is pretty good. Milio is, like, in my opinion, the better Yuumi. He buffs the AD pretty well, and the whole team because he heals them AoE. His ult is really fucking good. It has instant effect rather than Yuumi's, which is over time. Yuumi's is, I think, a little bit more harder. But the biggest thing is Milio actually has a better lane. He keeps up the pressure. He keeps up all the benefits and it makes them better over time. Same as Yuumi. I think Yuumi does a little harder for a single target. But I think Milio is just better in lane. I think Milio is the better support in most scenarios. So I wouldn't be surprised if they nerf him. So what are they doing? In his current state, Milio has a disproportionate amount of power tied up in his very early lane harass, specifically when he shields himself and runs up to auto attack. Wow. Aggressive. With these changes, we'll be reducing how powerful that strategy is instead of encouraging him to look for opportunities to harass opponents with his Q. rather only casting it as a peeling tool when he's being engaged on. Yeah, I mean, that's the best thing to use as. He's a really good peeler. He's a really good denier. He's really good at a lot of things, honestly. Holy shit. So his passive, what are they doing? They are making it per level, okay, of an ally's AD, okay. So instead of 15, it's getting giga nerfed early, followed by 50, 10 to 50 burned out. Okay, so yeah, you're losing a lot of passive damage. Okay, I see. I see how it is. So the passive damage isn't as crazy. And then the Q is going down in cooldown, up in rate. Wait, what? Oh, so they want you to use the Q even more. Wait, this is a crazy change. So the cooldown is getting down by 2 seconds, which is really good. The range is going up, which is insane. And then hitting an enemy refunds half the cooldown. Or sorry, half the mana cost. Never mind. Cooldown I thought would be overkill. This is really good. Holy shit. It might border on annoying, because whenever you get hit by a Milio Q, I find it a little annoying. Wow. So the Cozy Campfire recast range is now 3,000 units. It's now slow when following targets that are more than this many units away from Milio. I think this is overall better. Wow. And then Warm Hugs, the shield strength. So this is probably getting nerfed. Yeah, it's getting nerfed early, but you can scale it harder. Wow. I think Milio's Q is like giga buffed. Holy shit. Bro, I don't know. I still think Milio's strong. I think they just adjusted his power. Wow. Nidalee, as I always say, I hate this champion. This champion should be reworked or removed from the game. I think she's useless. She's if you want to have fun. She's annoying. She's terrible. She's garbage. She's barely fun because, again, most of the time you lose because she's so fucking stupid because she has one gimmick. Hit the spear, that's it. It's like a worse blitz Q. It's like, okay, you hit the spear. Now you're incentivized to go in on one person where you can't even really get out and you're probably going to die. At least with blitz Q, what is it called? You basically move the enemy. With her, she has to go in, and you have to hit the Q. If you don't hit the Q, you're a non-champion. Like, she has so many abilities. Back in the day, she was probably good, and unless you giga buff the Q to where it's, like, oppressively nuking people, I feel like Nidalee is just bad. Her whole thing is just... It could work in practice, but it's really bad in actual any professional sense. I feel like, again, unless she's OP number-wise, it's just she's like a for fun champion in normals. I really don't see how could she ever be good unless OP. Anyway, what are they saying? So they're probably gonna buff her. Nidalee is one of the hardest champions to play, which means her win rate below Masters is deflated. That said, she's too strong right now. We're taking some of her Cougar form damage. We're also interested to see how AD Nidalee might fare. Oh nah. What? That better not mean she goes ball lane. Either way, the W magic damage on Pounce is getting a AD ratio, but going down in base damage. Wow. And then the swipe damage on her E is, again, going down in base damage and getting a 70% bonus AD ratio up from 40. And they're lowering the AP. Wow, this is... I don't know if they tested this and they think this is good. I don't know if they want Nidalee players to troll. This is like a scary thing. I really hope this isn't good. I think Nidalee just kit-wise sucks ass. Okay, Rumble. Rumble is interesting. So from what I've seen, Rumble is decently strong, and I've for some reason been seeing him go support, weirdly enough. It's good to see Rumble back in the meta. Excuse me. It's not good to hear that. But it's good to see Rumble back in the meta, even though it's for weird purposes. I always liked Rumble. I think the biggest thing they do is Rumble is... It's always a game of trying to balance how skilled do you want the player to be to basically work off the heat versus how unskilled do you want to be in terms of how easy it is. The heat management is basically the main thing, right? And you get a lot of good rewards for like doing your heat correctly, like maxing it out at the right time, because Rumble's damage is really stupid, but you really have to control how you use the heat. It's really hard to manage at a high level. Now, this is where if you can manage it, I think he's absolutely amazing. Like, he just shits damage. And it's ironic because he's driving a piece of fucking junk. Like, Jesus Lord. So, I'm curious to what they're going to do. I don't know if they think the heat management is too easy, too hard. Maybe pros are abusing it a bit too much. I can honestly see him getting nerfed because of the pros. But that's the only thing I could see. But let's see. Rumble has been a top performer in pro play for the entire split, so it's time to nerf him. So it's time to nudge him down where he's the least counterplay, a skill that goes through minions, can't miss, and has no permanent resource cost. We're hoping that his opponents feel like early laning phase is a lot more interactive instead of just belonging to Rumble by default. Wow. I don't think it's necessarily bad for some people to be better early game, but Rumble scales. Like, it's not like Pantheon where Pantheon owns your ass in the first 15 minutes of the game, and then after that you could kind of like, you know, tell him like, hey, fuck you. Rumble, it's like, bro, if the Rumble is good, he will shit on you. What are they doing? His Q. So the total magic damage, which also scales off max health, which is insane. I really need to play Rumble again. It's going down by 5 early. Okay. The minion damage modifier is now 70%, so a decent buff early, but not crazy later, because you're going to max Q first. So Flame Spitter no longer prevents minions from dying to other minions if they would die to one more tick of Flame Spitter. Wait, what? Okay, so you might miss out on some farm. It kind of locked out other minions from killing them. That's weird. And Flame Spitter now deals 1 bonus tick of damage if it would kill a lane minion. I don't understand. This doesn't feel like that big of a nerf. Like, the minion damage until you get to max level of Q is a buff. They're slightly reducing his damage by 5. Like, okay, big whoop. I don't think that's going to be like the end all be all. Now again, if they keep doing it, sure, but I don't know. This feels like nothing. This is stupid. Rumble's still fine, I think. Scion! I don't know what they're doing to Scion. I don't know what the boss is doing, but I saw him playing Scion recently, so they probably might be nerfing him. Let's see. Scion's just a touch weak at the moment. Never mind. We like to bring him up to the level of some of the stronger top lane tanks. Scion is a really weird case because he has a lot of potential like cheese. I think they removed most of it. I'm not sure. But I think Scion's a very interesting character. I love infinite scalers, and he infinite scales with health. Now, he's not the only one who does that, I think, anymore. He's technically Grasp infinite scales health as well as Overgrowth in the rune trees. But Scion's interesting because it really just boils down to, unless you're a really good player and you know how to use Scion, a lot of the times what will end up happening is after he ults and Qs, you kind of just ignore him. A lot of the times you'll just win the fight by straight up ignoring Scion, unless he goes lethality, which at that point you could just kill him. It's really hard. I don't know. Cion's a weird case. Unless you're very skilled like the boss, I feel like he's kind of ignorable. I don't know if it's a kit problem or what, because he has decent damage and numbers in his kit, at least on paper. And, you know, he does provide a lot of CC. He has a lot of slowing, a knock-up, another knock-up with his ult. Like, it's definitely interesting. I don't know. I feel like he's just mostly ignored, though. So that means he's not as impactful, unless you're, again, really good. So what are they doing? The W damage is now going to just 14% target max HP, no matter what. I think that's a very, very good buff, because you're probably going to max either the W second or last. Obviously, you're maxing Q first, usually. So, to have it be 14 early instead of 10, pretty good. And this scales, too. I think this is nice. This is very nice. Smoldy. What do I think of Smoldy? Smolder's weird. I mean, he's very simple, so it's easy to balance him if they want to. The main thing is obviously his passive, and the one iteration they had, which was absolutely ridiculous, is when both the true damage scaled and the execute scaled. I think that was ridiculous. That was my favorite because it was like, wow, you're really a late game carry. You are better than Kog'Maw, you're better than Vayne, you're better than Jinx, because the scaling he did with not only having an increasing execute and increasing max health true damage, like that on paper just sounds ridiculous. And then they nerfed him and then he was really bad. And I think he's sitting at one of the worst ADs in the game since the last time I played. I don't know about now, but I'm assuming now he's still pretty similar. I really just hope they adjust like the scaling on stuff, especially for the passive, but I don't really know what else they could do. They don't want to bring back the AP scaling on the W, I don't think. That was the only thing that really made him that good early. And again, if you're good early and you're a scaler, that's like the impossible challenge you're trying to beat. Let's see what they're doing. We're looking to flatten Smolder's power over game time a bit, and his early game is not quite as fiery as we intended it for it to be. Which is, I'm assuming, good, because you don't want him to be good at every point of the game. Granted, there's a big limit between being good and being playable. If you're just not even playable early, then it's an issue. But I don't think Smolder has that. At least to the extent where it's a problem. But either way, this patch we're giving Smolder some additional laning firepower, so let's see what they're doing. The base damage is going up by 5. With how much you spam this, it's basically like Ezreal Q. I mean, it's alright. It's a decent buff, but it'll add up over time, but not anything too crazy. This is a little bit of a slap on the tushy. Okay, Tristana. Tristana is an issue. Tristana is an issue in mid lane. Why? Because she has really good early level, like 1, 2, 3, full on engage, I'm gonna kill you. She has reset, she has a lot of early damage, especially if you all in, which they love to do. They love to get ahead early, and she's a scaler. So, what does that tell you? So, what are they doing? Tristana, well, they're gonna nerf her no matter what. Tristana has completely overtaken Pro Scene in mid lane and is too strong in solo queue. We're looking to mid lane skew her nerfs. I don't know how the fuck they're gonna do that. By increasing her mana cost for the ability she spams. The base mana increase gives her the first rapid fire for free, and rocket jump is being made cheaper. Let's see. So her base mana is going up. The Q is getting a mana cost, which is crazy. It's also getting a nerf, which is crazy. And her mana cost on her W is going down. This feels like just a nerf to AD. Like, I swear to God, I don't know how you would make something mid lane centric that wouldn't affect her AD. Overall, is just Tristan is just worse overall, honestly. This is terrible. I hate this. Zed, I think Zed sucks. I think Zed is a very hard champion to make good now unless you make him, like, nuking. And Zed, if he nukes, he's one of the few assassins that actually could get out. Like, there's not many that do that. Kha'Zix could do it if he has upgraded wings. Rengar basically goes into suicide. Evelyn could get out. Zed could get out. Talon could get out if he's lucky. Actually, maybe a lot of the assassins could get out. Some of them, like, they're literally on suicide missions, though. But Zed is very hard and mechanically challenging because you have to land everything, and almost everything is either a skill shot or you're sacrificing survivability because your shadow's right on top of them if you're hitting the E. Zed is really hard, and for the payoff you get, and a lot of people I don't even think are that good on him, they can't even land most of the shurikens, so... For the skill cap you need for Zed versus what he's doing, I think there's too much of a gap, so they have to buff him. There's no way. Now, should Zed be what he was, which was the bane of my nightmares along with Fizz and LeBlanc back in the day? No, but he really hasn't seen Grey Light of Day, and he has a lot of good skins, and Zed is like an iconic character. Not only because of Faker, but just also in League's history. He's a very, very cool, very fun character. It's just that he's not that good, so I really agree with buffing him. I really like Zed. Once upon a time, I was wanting to be a Zed main, believe it or not. Either way, Zed's been stuck in the shadows recently and not in the good way, so we're looking to give him a bit more of an edge in the early game by sharpening his shurikens. The main part of his kit, that's the hardest to hit. This is good. You want to reward people. So it's going up by 10. That's cool. And then cooldown reduction per enemy hit with his E is going up from 2 to 3. That's pretty good. Not bad. Not bad buffs. This is a little sleeper, not bad. Obviously, it's per champion hit, so this could get massively refunded. A lot of people tend to ignore the E. And, excuse me, I can see why it's very low range. Sometimes it does do a lot of damage, but later on it matters. But the shuriken buff is pretty good, but not crazy. Hopefully Zed gets another little buff, but this is pretty good. Zyra. So, if they're nerfing Brand, they're probably going to nerf Zyra, because they basically occupy the same niche. There's no way. Let's see. Zyra is currently outperforming her competition in both jungle and support. That's disgusting. So we're weed whacking her plant damage with some nerfs. We're compensating a bit with AP ratio in order to move her towards AP centric items like Death Cap. Oh my lord. And to bridge the rather large gap between Liandry's and Blackfire. So what are they doing? So her plant damage is going down. Her scaling is going up. Bonus damage to monsters is going slightly down. And that's about it. This pretty much doesn't change much. I mean, again, you'll get a little bit out of it with the actual hard AP builds instead of like the burn builds. But I think the burn builds are better because look at what Zyra does. Like, it's just stupid. Zyra is pretty much the same. This is nonsense. Okay, Warmogs. I didn't even know supports were using this. I didn't know they were rushing this. This is funny. Support champions are purchasing Warmogs first and hitting the bonus health threshold through a combination of support quest, the scaling health stat shard, and sometimes even overgrowth. So they're tanky fuckers. So they obviously got this a little too easily, so they're buffing it, or sorry, nerfing it to 1500 bonus health. So this also kind of hurts top laners a little bit, but most people aren't rushing Warmogs anyway, so this is fine. So runes. I feel like this is a pretty shitty rune. I feel like Absorb Life kind of sucks. Or even if it doesn't suck, you don't really feel the effects of it. I think it could be good. I honestly don't know, because the problem is it's competing with the other runes in the precision category. It's really hard to say how good this is. It's not something that you notice, I think. Let's see. We intended for Absorb Life to primarily be about recouping health later in the game, not early, which I think is what most people thought it was for. Because later in the game, you're not really CSing like crazy. It's the fight happens and it's over. You're not going to CS and then go back into the fight under most circumstances. So the fact that this is for later game and not in the early game is kind of like a mixed signal thing. I really feel like this should help you more early than anything. But either way. Now it stalls out the laning phase with a bit too much regeneration, so we're nerfing the early sustain by as much as 50? Wow. So this is a nerf level 1s to 12s and a buff to 13 to 18. Wow, so now that it's scaling linearly, it's... I don't know. I think this rune fucking is stupid. Fuck this rune. And that's the changes for regular league. Cool. So we'll slightly glaze over arena, even though there's not much here aside from champion stuff. Champion buffs, champion nerfs, augments, cool. Sadly, I won't be playing arena. Actually, maybe I will, because the pass is out now. Because I don't know if I'm going to play. I mean, I'll probably play ranked a bit, but... And the pass is out tomorrow, not now. But, I really just wish you could get chests in arena. When they actually, like, implement that, I'd probably be playing arena a lot more. Until then, you're probably going to see me in Rift and ARAM. And I really like ARAM. A lot of bug fixes, and here we go, ARAM. Let's read this. Hello, ARAMers. So they actually didn't have a little intro for Arena. I find that funny. They're just like straight on business. Like, oh, here they are. Here's the buffs. Here's the nerfs. That's it. At least in Arena, they take me out to dinner first. But either way. Hello, ARAMers. That's me. In this patch, we are addressing champions who have become strong due to extra buffs. We will keep monitoring Lulu, since she performs differently in various skill levels. Additionally, we have corrected the tooltip issue for all starter items that mislabeled them as legendary. And that was funny because there's no mythics anymore, so it didn't matter. Legendaries had no, like, relevance. Starter items are no longer classified as legendary, so feel free to purchase them when you have an Ornn as a teammate. We're also working with the reroll bug. Thank you for your continued support. So, I always say this, and I'm going to say this again. I think ARAM, they should be very hands-off with. They shouldn't let things run rampant, but they should be very hands-off because perfectly balanced is perfectly boring. And I think ARAM, the whole nature of it is you want to have sometimes unfair games because it's up to luck, it's up to RNG. I think those are fine things. But, yeah, obviously there's some adjustments that need to be made. Just don't do big ones. So what are they doing? Lulu, I'm not going to go over these. I don't go fuck. And bug fixes, who cares? So clashes this weekend. I'm going to try and play that. Mythic shop rotation. Cool. More stuff. Nice. Oh my god, there's actually so much stuff in the Mythic shop now. Wow. And then quick play. Let's read this shit. So, quick play surrender rules have done a good job of making sure players aren't stuck in lopsided games. However, we found that games are ending a little sooner than we'd like. I wonder if this has anything to do with quick play in Valorant, because Valorant quick play is a lot quicker than regular games. I wonder if they want to make that with League, because I think from what the initial data shows, and just how gaming is in general, people want things that are quick. There are obviously people who want things that are long, which is why Rift exists. But I think things like TFT, especially Arena more than anything, is really, really popular because not only is it different, I don't want to ignore the gameplay aspect of it, but is a very quick potential game mode. And sometimes it was a little too quick where people got upset. So you need to hit kind of a sweet spot. But generally, I think people like just quicker stuff. They don't like things where you have to sacrifice so much time because then it feels bad when you lose, and sometimes it feels like a slog when you're getting shat on. So I definitely think people generally lean more towards shorter styles of games. Not too short, but shorter. But either way, I think they're trying to copy maybe Valorant in terms of like making quick play being potentially quicker than regular Rift, but let's see. Not to any great extent, but obviously just with surrender rules here. But let's see if I'm right. So we are bumping surrender times up a bit in hopes that teams stick it out and finish games that are close. Wow, so I'm completely wrong. We're also looking at changes to ranked restrictions to help address the issue caused by players using quick play to quickly complete their required games. Wow. Though there are no changes in this patch, we want to let you know that this is on our radar. 70% threshold to pass, typically 4 to 5, is now available at 15 minutes instead of 10. And then 50% is available at 25. Wow. Interesting. So they're putting it back to 15 essentially. Wow, that's crazy. Okay, I mean, it's whatever. Bug fixes, I don't care. And now the upcoming skins. So let's go over these. Let's rapid fire them. How long did we take with this? Okay, we're under an hour. Wow, I mean, we're probably going to go an hour with this, but I'm surprised we didn't do that long. But I will talk a little bit more about Swarm, I guess, but let's go over this. So, Cybercat Yuumi, amazing skin. Love the lore, love the thematic, love everything about it. Colors, everything. Great skin. Battle Bat Zaya, mwah, amazing, magnifique. I like how she has fucking six, or maybe not six, three wings here. I thought she had double wings. She kind of reminded me of Kale as an angel, but she's not. Excuse me. But really amazing skin. I love the colors. I love the whole thematic. I'm basically going to say the same thing for everything. Prestige Cybercat Yumi looks weird. She looks more porcelain than anything. I like the little crown here. I like how on here she has an exclamation point. Here she has the crown. I actually don't like it more than Cybercat. I think Cybercat looks better. I haven't seen in games, but just based off the thumbnail, I don't really like Prestige stuff that much. But either way, we have Aurora's first release skin, which is Battle Bunny Aurora. Very hot, very cool, sexy as fuck. She's like a little witch. It's amazing. Mwah. So here's where the issue comes in. Battle Dove Seraphine. Seraphine is getting a legendary. After her release skin was an ultimate. Now, granted, that ultimate was shit, but it was an ultimate. She's getting a legendary. Now, I've heard this skin is good. I mean, visually, it looks amazing. Does she deserve it? No. Will it sell? Probably. Is it good? Yeah, but it's just upsetting that she's the one getting it. And then on the other side, on the villain side, we have Primordian Rek'Sai, which is pretty cool looking. Primordian Bel'Veth, which I gotta see the end game, but it looks very similar to just how she normally looks. I think maybe just darker. Like instead of purple, it's like dark purple. So, or magenta maybe. And then we have Admiral Battle Bunny Misfortune, which Misfortune already has a Battle Bunny skin from what I remember, and it's a legendary. So I don't know what the fuck this is. But what happens if I click on it? Oh, I just get the art. Okay, cool. I mean, she's hot as shit, but you know, MF getting another skin like Jesus Lord. She has an ultimate. She has a legendary. I don't know if this is like an amendment to it. I honestly don't know. But a lot of people in this patch don't deserve the skins. Yumi, I'll allow it. Zaya, I guess I'll allow it, even though she has a couple. Aurora, it's her first one. Seraphine, absolutely not. Rek'Sai, sure. Bel'Veth, sure. MF, absolutely not. And this isn't even all the skins, because we also have Briar coming. We have Aatrox coming. And Aatrox is a legendary, and his shit, that's just looking clean. I want to suck that dick right there. But either way, these are pretty good. The Cybercat Yumi chromos look amazing. The BattleBot ones look amazing. The Aurora ones look amazing. All these look really good. The Bel'Veth one looks a little weird, though. It looks like, I guess, just a more sci-fi one. The Rek'Sai one actually looks pretty good. Yeah, overall, I think these skins are amazing. Again, I'm just a little upset with the choice of who got it, but overall, I think they blew it out of the park with these shits. I think these skins are magnifique. And then, especially the fucking, like, Zaya one. I think the Zaya one is, like, low-key super hot fire. But very, very good skin line. Oh, and I forgot Alawi. That's also another good one. But that's coming with Aatrox and Briar, probably. But either way, this was an amazing patch. I'm going to preemptively rate this patch based on what I know on Swarm. Now, to talk a little bit about Swarm, right? I think Swarm, and again, I said most of my opinions in my other videos, but just to recount them here, I think Swarm is going to be really fucking fun, really fucking good. It's probably going to taper off in player base after people get their initial fill of it. And one of the concerns Riot had, or I guess the players had, was like, oh, what if people play this and this takes away from other game modes like Arena? And I think it fills a decent enough niche, and Arena has been out long enough to where it's like people probably want something new. I don't know how much replayability there is in this. I know there's some, and I know it's like a roguelike in the sense of every game you get permanent upgrades that you will get powerful no matter what. So I think overall they are doing a great thing. Again, this should be a paid game. I fully agree with the fact that this should be a paid game. I think if they really pushed it further, because again, it does look like it feels a little rough around the edges because they're kind of jerry-rigging the technology of League to kind of do something different with this. But I think either if they provided more polish with it over time or just made its own separate thing, I probably might even buy it, honestly, if they continue to support it. And I really hope it comes back in the future and they support it well, but I really think it's going to do great. And I'm very excited. It's new. I love League trying new things, and Riot, I want to kiss them on the mouth. They're like Epic. I love them. Even though sometimes they mess up, they most of the time own up to it. But either way, preemptively speaking, I think this is going to be an amazing patch. We really got to see. It really depends on how good Anima Squad is. That's, you know, usually I rate the patch based on the balance, but the balance isn't the only thing here. And the skins aren't the only thing here, too. We're getting a lot of shit in this patch, so I want to rate this higher, maybe even potentially lower, but I'm going to go with the average rating right now of 8.5 out of 10 Mark Merrills, just in terms of pure excitement. Like, we have two passes going on. Let's just say you haven't played League for a minute. We have two passes going on. Arena, ARAM, Clash, all this shit, a bunch of new skins, a new fucking game mode, Swarm. Like, there's so much shit here that's going on right now. I think this is one of the best times for League. Will it keep it up, and will it actually be as good as I think it is? Time will tell when it releases tomorrow, but again, initial viewings, everything's looking good. So I'm very happy, very excited, can't wait to get back into League and have even less time, and this was amazing. I hope everyone enjoyed. I stream at Twitch TV/Tecnics channel, and we actually did this in under an hour. I'm shocked. But I'll see y'all next time for the next patch, hopefully.